This is Modernia from Nikke in her First Affection outfit.
Commander!
She's a 1/12 action figure by Snail Shell Studio. I gotta say, Modernia is fantastic even though she is seemingly pretty simple. Sometimes less is more. In this video we're gonna take a look at all her details and accessories, do a little comparison with the Hyperbody Modernia, and do a little head swap, see whether she makes a good base body and how she swaps with other figures. And there's a few things that you should be careful of as well. Her box is lightly coloured and matches the aesthetic of her outfit pretty well. Getting her out of the box, there is a big tray and a smaller tray. The smaller tray has some stand stuff, and the larger tray just has everything else. Out of the tray, Modernia has her very thin shirt on already. In Nikke lore, this is the commander or the player's shirt. It's kinda see-through and has a fine and somewhat delicate feeling fabric. Overall, she looks pretty good.
Wow, the sleeves are so long.
There's not too much to comment on, she's got a very minimal and simplistic design. But honestly, I think it works perfectly. The details and sculpting are excellent as per usual, especially on the head. I mean, otherwise there's not much else going on. There are a lot of fine strands of hair and I think a very slight gradient towards the tips of the hair. The triangle bits look good too, there's some details there. The bandages are also done well and not just a plain white. Unlike the Hyperbody. We'll do a detailed comparison later on. The orange ribbon looks good too. The face is of course excellent.
Thank you.
She's got glossy red eyes and a slight blush. All the painting and details and stuff seem to be nice and neat. Taking a look at the body, the sculpting around it is also fantastic. There is very slight shading where it needs to be, and even though it's pretty much just a nude body, it does look great, especially when the light hits just right. There is a fun little detail on her underwear as well. It is lore accurate from when she has to borrow a certain someone's underwear in the game. The print on this is also pretty crisp. Of course, you can probably use this as a base body and do some swaps and stuff, and we'll take a look at that later on. The shirt is fantastic.
How do you do these buttons?
They are magnets. They connect nicely and you can slide them up and down. It's pretty subtle but kind of allows for different styling as well. There are also magnets in the cuff. Same deal here, you can move them around or you can roll the sleeves up and stuff like that. You can of course play dress up, however the back hair might get in the way a little bit. So just be careful there if you're using the Modernia head sculpt. So what do you think of her so far? Is she too simple or is she just right? For accessories, she actually doesn't come with a lot, but I think it's an appropriate amount for this outfit design.
Yes, Commander.
So she has her stand stuff, she has one stand arm and a base, so you won't be able to use the stand for her and the gun at the same time. However, I think she bounces well enough on her own. To display the gun, you will have to have it pegged in at the bottom, and then just angle it around to whatever makes sense. For faces, she's got 3 total, which is more than Snail Shell's usual offering of 2. Her default face is just a happy, teethy smile. This is super cute. She's also got a sad face. This is also super cute and makes her look extra precious. She's also got a kind of grumpy, frowning face. The faces all look good, and they all have articulated eyes. You can use this stick thing and move the eyes around. Makes her a lot more expressive.
Let's give you a little pat. You're so cute, Commander.
Do be careful when removing the front hair and changing faces, because some of the hair strands do seem to be a little bit delicate. The best way to do this is probably to wiggle the hair and face off at the chin.
Commander, be careful.
She has 3 pairs of hands. She has a default relaxed pair. These are nicely sculpted. She has kind of slight holdy, pinchy hands.
I really like you.
And she has fisty hands. Now it's not a lot of hands, but of course if you wanted to, you could probably borrow them from other figures. Usually a separate add-on, she's got 2 pairs of bare feet. She's got her regular feet, which is just a pair of standy feet. And then she's kind of got a pair of feet with slightly raised toes. I'm no expert, but as per Snail Shell, I think these are sculpted quite well, so I suppose it is a welcome addition. And of course, in true Nikke fashion, she has a lower body swap. This is sculpted very nicely, just as nice as the rest of the figure. She can actually do the crouchy pose with her regular body and the drop down legs. However, it doesn't look the best from all angles. And actually, I wouldn't recommend leaving her leg kicked up all the way for too long, as it might indent the hip area, which is kind of a soft plastic. So the lower body swap is very much appreciated. To swap it out, you simply pull the torso off, and then you just reattach it. I would suggest trying to have her lean up or back as much as possible, because she can topple forwards.
Is this the right way?
Modernia also has a commander doll.
Alright.
This is super cute and detailed, even though he is tiny. Doesn't really do much, but it is adorable. Kinda wish there were a few more versions and poses. Otherwise the Nikke will have to fight over him.
You're mine! I'll protect you.
Alright, let's take a look at her gun. Looks pretty good. Very nice detail and paint and stuff all around it. There's a little bit that moves. Apparently it's meant to glow under UV light. I guess it does. Here's a little comparison with the Hyperbody gun. The Snail Shell one has a darker orange, and I would say overall it's a bit more detailed and looks nicer. And here's a little comparison with the Hyperbody Modernia and her gun as well. So that is pretty much it for accessories. Oh wait, spare wrist joints. And the instructions, just in case. Now let's do a more proper comparison of the Hyperbody and Snail Shell Modernias. Overall, I don't really think there's any question as to which one is the better head sculpt. The Snail Shell one is pretty much more detailed everywhere on the head. It's a little bit hard to compare the body because it is a completely different outfit. However, what you can do is you can do a head swap with the Snail Shell onto the Hyperbody, and then you have a Hyper Shell Modernia.
I feel so powerful all of a sudden.
It's actually pretty simple, you just pull the heads off carefully, and then just find a way to attach them. You could either use some tack or make an adapter, or just balance it for simple shots, which is what I've done. The neck piece will cover most of the connection anyway. The Snail Shell head is just a little bit big, but doesn't matter too much. She also won't really be able to move her head like this because of her hair and shoulders. Which do you think is the better Modernia figure? I don't think there'd be any debate as to which has the better head sculpt. Snail Shell is clearly the winner here. In saying that though, I'll still have reviews for all the Hyperbody Nikke when they release. As for compatibility with others, you can absolutely use her as a base body if you want. Here are some upper torso swaps. With Lustia, the colors are a little bit different. With Aileen, it also is a little bit off, but I guess it's not too noticeable. She seems to be most compatible with Muse. It looks like they have pretty much the same skin color. But honestly, depending on how you have them dressed and posed up, it might not be that noticeable whatever you swap anyway. Of course, you can do head swaps as well. Depending on the swap, you might have to mod the neck. Her head sculpt is pretty compatible with other Snail Shell girls as well. Here's a few random face swaps. Some of them don't exactly fit, but most of them look okay, I think. Makes for a whole bunch of different options. But yeah, I think she is nice and simple, but pretty versatile as well.
After all that, I deserve a compliment.
And if you don't want the Anise branded underwear, you could also probably just paint over it. One other important thing to note is that she does not actually have any bumps like Lustio. So if you want details there, you'll have to do some custom stuff. Now let's see how she articulates. Head movement is a little bit limited due to her hair sculpt. She can turn her head a little bit, but do be very careful of the hair. She can tilt a little bit. She can't really look up due to her back hair. However, she can look down a little bit. Other movement is pretty standard snail shell articulation. Arms raise up. They go all the way around, but be careful if you have the shirt on, of course. Reaches forwards about this much. Reaches backwards about this much. Range isn't crazy because she doesn't have any butterfly joints. Her right arm is a little bit loose for me as well. Keeps popping out. Otherwise there's bicep rotation. Double jointed elbows which bend this much. And wrist movement is standard stuff. Torso range is also a little bit limited due to reasons. She can turn a little bit. And goes up and down about this much. Legs split like this. She does have drop down legs. Be careful not to pull it out though, because otherwise you'll have a hell of a time getting it back in. She can kick back and forth. And she can do a crazy upwards kick as well. Obviously it won't look good from the back. She's got a thigh rotation, double knees, and feet is standard movement. I suppose you can do a thigh swap as well if you want her to have different legs. The size doesn't really match up though. For height she's about 15.5 centimeters or 6¼ inch. And she will look great next to anything. You know, pretty much as soon as I got her, she became one of my favorite figures. Of course she is a Nikke, so there is a little bit of bias there. However, you can't deny that Modernia is a pretty good looking and versatile figure as well. She is definitely worth it.
I did good, right?
What are your thoughts? Keep your eyes out for the other Nikke and action figure stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Good